next thing is consider emergency ordinance authorizing the allocation of court costs and fines assessed by the county district court.
Be happy to. Sheriff Lowe has done a very good job of collecting court costs and fines and restitution on behalf of the county. When somebody comes to court, if they don't have all of the money to pay their fines and court costs, then they have to visit with Sheriff's Department employee, Mr. Waller, and Mr. Waller assesses their ability to pay and works out a payment arrangement with them. Now, the way that money currently is handled is, let's say, for example, this individual has a $100 fine and $100 of court costs, total $200. The way things are right now, if we're collecting those $50 a month, that first payment of $50 has to go all to the state because it's counted towards court costs. That second payment of $50 has to go all to the state because it's counted as court costs. And only then can we start collecting our fines. Now, what this ordinance will allow us to do is, under that same scenario, that first payment that comes in of $50, we'll be able to split it in half. We'll be able to keep half of it here as fines. We'll be able to send the other half of it to the state. And in that particular example, if all four payments come in, then the state would be paid in full and we would be paid in full. It helps us two ways. One way is that it helps us get our money faster because we don't have to wait until they've paid all their court costs before we start receiving some of the money. The other thing is that I believe it could help us collect more in the long run because anybody that's been in business knows that it's a lot easier to collect that first payment than it is to collect that last payment. And you know, if somebody moves away or whatever, then we will have collected at least as much as the state has. Like I said, Sheriff Lowe's done a very good job. But this gives us another tool to benefit us. I have promised the mayor and the county judge that I'd try to find something else to help us increase the revenues there. I think this will do it. Certainly has potential to help the cash flow. Now, it does not add any amounts to what anybody owes. It's simply a function of the way that the money is dispersed to the state. We just get to keep half of it until theirs is paid. Now, restitution comes off the top. They have a restitution. If I order a restitution amount because of harm done to a victim, then that money gets paid first, and then after that, we will split it with the state. Now, after I saw this ordinance, this statute, I met with the treasurer of Little Rock because I found out that they likewise do it. He told me it's been working great for them. I got a copy of his ordinance to see how they had done it. And it looks like it's a win-win situation. It doesn't increase our overhead in any way. The way that our virtual justice system is set up will be very simple to switch it over. We've already switched it over for the city because they passed it at their last meeting, so it's very simple to implement. So like I said, it's a win-win. It improves our cash flow, should improve our overall collection, and it doesn't cost us a penny.
If you had the complaint that Mr. Oliver was bringing out about fines changing per se?
Well, fines don't change. There's a couple of things that can happen though. One is that once somebody has a payment agreement, and if they've agreed that they're going to pay $100 a month towards their fine costs, and let's say it's a DWI and the fine costs come out to be $1,025, then if at some point they stop making those payments, then the prosecutor will request that they be put back on the docket for a contempt hearing. Now, under those circumstances, it is possible that they could incur some more costs, not for what they did before, but for failing to follow the court's order and pay their $100 a month, when they come in. Now, sometimes if their situation has become such that they do not have any ability to pay, if the only income they have is disability, it's $5.94 a month, and they do not have any other way to pay, then I look to community service as a possibility. The vehicle that Mr. Drake was talking about earlier, we're hoping we can utilize that. I talked to Prosecutor Butler, and he said they will coordinate with us and let us try to help fill that van up. But if it's somebody that's unable to do community service, then what I will typically do is set the matter over for anywhere between 3 months to 6 months, and then have them come back to court to see if their position has changed. If their circumstances have gotten better, then maybe they can afford to pay something or make some payments. But at no time does anybody's fine amounts or court cost amounts increase unless it's a case where they've been hauled back into court for failure to pay. Now, there is one thing that happens sometimes that causes some people to get confused, is that we have two jurisdictions. We've got Waldo also, but there are a lot of people that have fines and costs in the city, and they have fines and costs in the county. And of course, the city keeps their own books and their collection, and they do their collection. The county keeps its own books, and they do their collection. And a person might, for example, go to the county and say, what do I owe? You owe $96. They might pay that amount, and then later are told that they owe $220, but it might be a city amount. It's the same court, but it could be city or county. Now, I'm working on a plan. We've set it up where both city and the county are now able to tap into our virtual justice system, so they can see at an instance what is owed everywhere. And I'm working on a plan where those things can be a little bit better coordinated, so we don't have those mistakes. Because sometimes people will think they paid everything and just quit paying, and when in fact they still may owe money to another jurisdiction. Any other questions about this? Yes, sir.
I got 2 questions. When was this statute brought out, and does passing this ordinance, does it have a retro effect that any fines that are currently on the books will be given this way, or is this only to be addressed to new fines?
This particular statute became effective January 1st of 2012. There was another version of it that had been had existed in the past, and that's actually the way I found it. I was looking through legislation of the last legislature in Little Rock to see if they had changed, and I found this effective January 1st, 2012. And like I said, there was a predecessor for it, but we are going under the 2012 version, which is a little bit different. And as far as retroactivity, it doesn't change anything that any individual owes. So it is being applied retroactively. If they've already got amounts on the books, and they make, assuming that you adopt this ordinance, if they've already got amounts on the books and they make payments on them, then we will do the 50-50 split just like it says. It doesn't have to be all just new cases. Okay. Any other questions that I could? The Supreme Court Administrative Office of Courts caused a survey to be done. It's actually an investigative audit to find out what was happening, because the ALJ fund ran out of money. That's why there was problems. I know y'all heard about paying the circuit courts case coordinators. They call them trial court assistants now. And the ALJ funds were real down. And what they found was that across the state, their revenues were down. People weren't sending in as much money. District courts weren't, county courts weren't. So they were looking at ways to increase it. Fortunately, Columbia County, for the year 2011 that they looked at, we were actually up in what we had sent in about 11%. No, excuse me, about 23% for 2011. And we're hoping we could at least maintain that. But they said they found the 2 biggest problems were that there weren't as many citations being issued because a lot of jurisdictions had cut back on manpower, and then just the general economic downturn. And I can tell you that a lot more people now in court ask for community service than they ever have before. So we're looking for better ways to use that community service where the county can get finished.
questions